All righty. What's going on? What's going on, party people? I know the notifications going out. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Give y'all a second. Mm. Woo, boy, oh boy. Oh man. Oh man. Wonderful, wonderful notary subscribers and viewers and everybody. So I'm all fresh and clean. The wife took care of me today, got me all trimmed up. So we gonna do what it do and see what we can make happen tonight. Got on a little bit earlier. One of my signings, man, to this week. Oh boy, signing's been crazy, been crazy. Oh man, I don't even know how much I did this week. How many I did. So talk to me, people. Tell me how y'all been doing this week. What's been going on with y'all? Um, any issues? Anything? What's going on? What's going on with y'all? All right, so it look like I've done like 15 this week. So I got 15. Okay, 15. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. I love doing the videos, chopping it up with y'all, making sure y'all are good, just passing on good information and everything. So I do appreciate it. When y'all hit the like button and share the videos out. I really, really do appreciate it. So oh man, so let me get over here. I need to check something. All right. All right. Because there was one thing that I wanted to cover tonight. And I just thought it was real interesting. Real interesting. But yeah, as I was sharing, as the title says, talking about respecting the business. And y'all please hit the like button and share. Because I really didn't know what I sort of had an idea what I was gonna talk about. But after the video I put out today, and one comment in particular, and it has nothing to do with the person. So when I address comments, it's really not so much about the person who made the comment, it's about the comment itself because I find the comments very interesting and I actually do read them. Sometimes I don't get the answer to all of them right away. Sometimes it might take me 2 weeks to reply back to a comment. Everything because I'm trying to survive this mortgage crisis thing that we have. And there are days where I just want to sit down and hop on here and answer some questions and stuff. And then all of a sudden orders come in, house inspections, you name it. And I'm ripping and running doing that. Matter of fact, now that I think about house inspections, there was one. I hope I, oh, snap. Did I forget? Did I forget to submit this? Yep, I did. I thought I did. My bad. Um, oh man. Oh well. I never did get to it. Okay. No, I never did get over there. That's what the problem was. That's what the problem was because of my appointments. Yeah. Because that one last, yeah. All right. So I gotta let them know real quick. I'll do this in the morning. Um, um, yeah, my last three appointments. Long do first thing in the morning. Yeah, because I was on my way and couple of my appointments got completely thrown off. And I'm trying to say, did I do these? Hold on, hold on. Nope, I didn't. I'm just sitting here having a fit. Like, all right, now I'm confused. Wait a minute. I'm trying to remember. Did I do this house inspection or not? Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Now I'm confused because now the thing was like, hold on, let me. They was crazy. I gotta first look at the house. Oh, I didn't do this house. No, I didn't. Okay, because I'm about to say, because I'm sitting here, the thing showing that it was done, and I'm like, nah, I didn't do that one. Okay, so I will do that first thing in the morning. All right, I just have to get up a little early and go out there and do it. Yeah, good evening, y'all. Got my tea for my throat and stuff. Appreciate the super sticker, y'all. Appreciate the love. Romy Rome. Rome in the house. Without a doubt. Thank you, shout. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight, y'all. I'm feeling good. So appreciate you, Romy Rome. Really do appreciate you and stuff. All right. So, all right. All right. And Romy Rome, he's a member of the YouTube channel. So appreciate that. I just put a post in there for the YouTube member on the the YouTube channel members. We're going to be doing some training and getting together, just a meeting or whatever we're going to do on Sunday. I was going to try to do it tomorrow, but I got some other stuff I got to do. So y'all will see that if you're a member. Um, hey, what's going on in that dark room? Good to see you. So you got media. So are you actually doing media stuff? If you are, let me know. I want to know about that. I want to know more about that and stuff. All right. So we got 14 folk up in here, so I guess we can go on and get started. Everybody else will just have to catch the replay and slide on in here. Now, I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear you. Hopefully, let me ask you first. Did y'all, all right, all right. So let me ask y'all this. Did y'all see this video that I put up? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. There we go. All right. So the one that I talked about, the signers demanded I let them make a copy of my ID. If you saw that, um, just put a one in the chat and everything. If you saw that video, if you haven't, go back and look at it later and stuff. But I posted this video, and anybody who's interested in being a YouTube channel member, right down here right underneath the title, there's the join button. Click that, and you can join if you like, and you can hang in there for as long as you want. Because we put some good information out. You get one-on-one training with me. You got what is that? A loan, any kind of notarial assignment, whether it's general notary or whatever, and you need help figuring out the notarial part, give me a call and we'll do a document review to make sure you square it away. All right. So there was an interesting comment that was made on here. And again, this is not about the person, it's about the comment, and I don't understand it. And I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand it. So, and y'all will see it in there. I hope, unless the person will, delete it, but it says a notary should possess a genuine spirit for public service. That spirit includes the responsibilities to deal fairly with all people, to perform all notarial duties with prudence and diligence. The position of a notary is a public servant post to be taken only with the utmost serious conviction to do good for one fellow citizens. But hey, it is what it is. And I didn't understand how to take that. I really didn't understand how to take that, whether it was saying that I did something wrong or that, yes, we put forth every effort to do due diligence, but hey, it didn't work out like that with you, and it is what it is. You know, but the one thing that um I've been noticing, and what I'm about to say has nothing to do with the statement, but I mean, sort of does. But my concern, my issue at the table with that guy was that he had no respect for me. That was the biggest issue. And I was like, okay, I said, well, I got a spirit of public service. And I was like, and I was dealing fairly with the person, but I don't, I was like, I just didn't understand how to take that, whether it was saying I was doing all of that, because the point that they pointed out in the video was, the 2 minute and 47-second point was me basically saying, nah, I ain't give you my ID. So I don't know if me saying that I was giving some pushback was an example of me not being treating them fairly and things of that nature, and all of that, and doing good to another person. I don't know. But my thing is, and something I didn't say, and I'll say it here, is that when I contacted the title company to get some other stuff straight, they told me they was very shocked at the way the gentleman was acting, because they said they didn't have, in their dealings with him, he didn't act that way. And that's what's interesting, because even recently, and really so much this year, and maybe it's stress or whatever, but I've seen it even overall, that sometimes people don't respect what we do in this business as notaries. And sometimes I feel that they're looking at us to be yes people, just to shut up and do what they say, and that who we are don't matter, what we do doesn't matter. Hey, we're paying you, so just do what we say. And respect for the business starts with you respecting me. And if you don't respect my business, I know you don't respect me, because I am my business. And I also have to have respect for my business. And I appreciate y'all hitting the like button and everything. I keep forgetting to put my little banner up there that they always tell me to do. There we go. And that's the hardest thing that I've been finding, from signers to signing companies, title, and even sometimes the lender. They don't have respect for the notary and what we do. And when you go into a situation where a person is clearly disrespecting you and trying to exert some unnecessary authority over you, sometimes as much as you want to try to be verbally professional, sometimes it's hard to be verbally professional when they're actually just completely disrespecting you. And the thing is, I was being very nice and polite. And the more I was just trying to be calm with him, it was like the more he was like, you're not doing what I want. And he started amping it up even more and more and more. And it was like getting to a point where he was like, this is the way I do things, and you're going to do what I say. And I'm like, no. And the thing is, once it got to that point, I was like, we can't have this. We can't have somebody just doing that to me or any other notary. And the individuals, the other people that's involved who's loaning him this money, they didn't understand what was the point. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you acting that way? And what's crazy is that they get my information, they get a email concerning that I'm coming with my picture and all of that. So it was just very, very weird. But even besides what went through with that person, I've been noticing a lack of respect being exhibited toward what's going on, Mattherin. I've been seeing a lack of respect being exhibited toward the notary business as well as the notaries. And it starts so like well, he didn't need to be restrained. He didn't really need to be restrained. Um and see another thing he did, and I don't know how the ladies in conflict with a woman, but when it comes to a man, he did this thing where he was trying to stand over me because I'm sitting down. So rather than sit down with me, he was standing over me, not real close, but the way his body posture, and I was like, okay, you really are trying to exert authority over top of me, man. I'm like, what is up? So, and I've been thinking about this for a while, even before this situation happened. Do people, you got to respect a person's business and the way that they operate. You may not always agree, but you do have to respect it. And the question then becomes, what reason do you have not to respect their business? So I may not agree with some of the things that a lot of these trainers say and do, these mentors say and do, but I respect the fact that they have the right to do it. So what I do is I try to bring another side of the story. I mean, and I tell people, I say, if you're going to spend money with them, go spend your money, but take this in consideration. Here's the other side of it. And when it comes to signing, like I know the signing company owners, they want us to have a level of respect for them and their business and what they're trying to do by us showing up on time, answering the phone when they call, all of this kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. But then there needs to be that same level of respect that when I need help, when I call you, when I text you, email you, you respond back to me. Yes, I know you're busy, but if I'm reaching out, then that needs to be reciprocated back, you know. And then if I'm a notary who wants to really try to follow the law and do things correctly, that should also be respected. And what I'm seeing is because things are it's weird. When things was good, there was still a lack of respect. Just be quiet, we're paying you, do what we say. Now that things are tight and money is really thin, opportunities are lessened, it's just shut up, we're paying you, just do what we say. And the question then becomes, and maybe somebody can answer this, at what point does the world need to be in order for you to respect me and my business and me to respect you and your business? What environment do we need to have? Because right now, the way things are going, and that could have been a part of why he was treating me that way, because that has triggered some people. That has triggered some people. I got a folding chair right over there in the corner. Mine's blue, pure metal too. But here's the thing: people keep coming up with excuses and reasons not to respect your business, not to respect you. I'm under this stress. I'm under that stress. Life is hard. The world is hard. But what environment? Because see, here's here's the thing. Things aren't getting any easier. So in order for me to respect you, your business, as well as you and your business, whichever one you want to put first, doesn't matter to me. That comes from within. It comes from within. And it says a lot about a person who can go through a lot of mess and be dealing with a lot of mess, and yet they still respect another person's business. They respect them, they respect their environment, all of that. Can you do that? And it takes effort. And the problem is that we think and have been taught for the most part that in order for me to respect you and your business, your life or whatever, everything got to be straight in my life. Everything got to be peaceful, got to be. But everybody's like, well, I'm just going through some stuff. So I'm slap you around. I've just been going through some things. I mean, just life been hard and I just can't respect you. But you better respect me. And that's what gets me really riled up because I put forth a lot of effort to show respect to people. But for some reason, I see people constantly disrespecting whether it's me or my wife or my kids or just other people. And that really, really bothers me. I see people disrespecting, even recently I had a thing dealing with some folk in our neighborhood that was, on the corner panhandling. And it's like, okay, cool, no problem. But they kept leaving trash everywhere. Asked them to clean it up. Since you putting it out there, clean it up. Next thing I know, they threatening me. And I'm sitting here like calling me all kind of names. You owe this and you owe that. And I'm like, yeah, I know I'm old. Man, you 50 years old. Why you out here saying something? Because you need to clean up behind yourself. But they want you to respect them. And this is the problem we have right now. And a lot of that is come into the notary business and just business in general. In other words, like the old song says, people smile in your face all the time, want to take your place. Though backstabbers, backstabbers. That's what's going on. And in some cases, they're not necessarily just trying to stab you in the back. They just have no respect. And then they want respect. They want the kids respect them, all of that. And I'm like, at some point in time, we have to make up our mind. Yeah, backstab. That was my song. You know what? I think I got the album downstairs. For whatever reason, I can't remember who sang that song, but I think I got the album downstairs. And if I do, I'll have to play it one day. But my thing is this, and then she says, right, I hate that disrespectful people asking for respect and special treatment burns me up. This is what's happening because yeah, I got vinyl, man. I got a lot of vinyl. One day I'm gonna have to take a picture and show y'all. I got probably over maybe close to 1,000 the 33s and maybe a couple of hundred LPs. I got a whole bunch of them. Yeah. Yep, there go my baby right there. That's Mrs. G. My wife, she's downstairs chilling with her foot in the foot massager. You got the little foot massager that rubs it all good and stuff on like the little the shiatsu massager thing. And then we got these little leg compression things that help keep the blood circulating in your leg because she stands on her feet a lot. So she's downstairs. That thing just rubbing her legs down. Now, right at this point, some young lady's probably going to hop in my comment. Why you ain't massaging her legs? Why you ain't rubbing her feet? What kind of man are you? A man who don't really know how to do it as good as the machine does, and a man who has been given a pass by his wife to allow the machine to do it. However, when she says massage it, I will massage it. so so that's the thing. That's the thing. So we gonna have to make a conscious effort to do this. Okay, a conscious effort to respect one another as well as respecting our own business, because sometimes when we see when you have respect for your own business, it's shown in you stopping the disrespect. And sometimes we'll put in a position where it's like, man, if I say something that can cost me money, it can stop people from spending money with me or giving me an opportunity and all of that. But at the same time, I can't keep letting you. And see, sometimes somebody can inadvertently disrespect you, but we are grown enough to know we can tell when somebody is purposefully disrespecting. And the purposeful disrespect is what sometimes needs to be dealt with. And it can be a tense situation, but it has to be done. And we're talking and we're always talking and having conferences and this, that about, getting together in clubhouses and everything about, being better and working as this family, this notary family. And this is no jab at Jeff Clark, who has the business notary family. This is just in general terms, notary family. My thing is this: families, yes, we have our differences, but we're supposed to respect one another, and we're supposed to be there for one another. And that is what I think is missing in general. What I think happens is, as long as you're paying somebody, long as you're spending money with them, then they like, oh yeah, I got you, man. I appreciate you, Griff, because I'm spending money. But if I ain't giving you a dime, can you still back me? Can you still respect me? Can you still stand for me when something has been done wrong? And that's the true test of family and friendship, that you can be there for somebody without ever being compensated in any way, shape, or form. And if you're unable to do that or unwilling to do that, then that says a lot about you as a person. So I've crafted my life to where my wife know I will do everything I can to stand up for a person, to be there for them. And even with the people who I had the conflict with, the panhandlers, if I see that there's something that I can do to help them, I would. I would. If there's something that I can do. And the only thing that will stop me is if I sense that it's just going to be blatantly disrespect still coming, and then even still, I would like, okay, I may just have to, you're just gonna have to disrespect me, but you really need help, and then find a way to help them and do something to help them. You see what I'm saying? That's me. And I know not everybody's like that. Everybody lives up different. I grew up in this city, I grew up in that town, dot, and this is the way we do it out here in the streets. This is the way we do it out here in the trailer park and the barrios and all of that kind of stuff. But at what point of time we're going to step up and say, you know what? Let me mature and do better. Let me not try to bring the hood out here to this. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. It really is. But when you stand for your up for yourself, when you have standards, and that really what it starts with as the business owner, what your standards are. My standard is this. And that's all I was doing the other day. I was like, I hear what you're saying, sir, but your justification for what you want to do with my ID, mm-mm, no, no, we got to do things a little bit different here. And that's and when you got somebody trying to tell on you, trying to get somebody else to exert power and influence over you, that see, you can tell a lot about when a person asks you to do something and they're like, I can't make you do what I want. I'm gonna call somebody, I'm gonna call the people who paying you. They'll make you do it. And I've had situations where in Virginia, we can't collect closing funds unless we have a title license. I've been there where a realtor, I share that with them, and they're like, well, other notaries do it. I said, well, I can't. I know they do it, but that's not legal. Show them that it's not legal. They get on the phone and call the title company. Yeah, the notary is refusing. Note the word refusing. I said, I didn't refuse. I can't refuse something I'm not allowed to do. Well, they're refusing to do this. And I find it so ironic that everybody wants to get the notaries in trouble. Everybody wants to claim and believe that the notaries aren't doing what they should do. Maybe I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people want to act like, well, you notaries, you're just trying to skate and trying to get out of your job. But what I found is that most people don't really understand and know what notaries are supposed to be doing. And because they don't understand and know what notaries are supposed to be doing, and because so many notaries are out there haven't been taught what notaries are supposed to be doing, they're doing things wrong. So therefore, that person has been conditioned to believe that the way things are being done is the way things are. And then when you come along and do it right, they're like, oh, you're being difficult. And the thing is, most people won't even take the time out to find out if what you're doing is wrong, because they know if they do go and look to see if it's wrong and they find out that it's correct and that they're wrong, now they got to change. And this is why a lot of people want to exert power over you so that they can keep you doing what feels comfortable and good for them, because they don't want to change. If they realize that they're wrong, and it's not that you're going to throw it up in their face, but some people just don't ever want to believe that they're wrong. And that's fine. Then we just going to have to part ways and not do business with each other. But in doing so, guess what? You're missing out on one of the greatest notaries that Hampton Roads has ever had. So do you want to do it right, or do you just want to continue to believe that you're right and all of that? That's what really matters. And then they say, here, I think he realized that he was wrong. Pray for him. Yeah. Yeah, because you Mr. Griff are good. Correct. Yeah. And everything. And if I had to do another closing for him, I would. I would. I would. But when they told me, they said we never had any kind of dealings with that. He hasn't interacted with us that way. That told me a lot, even more. Confirmed a lot also. What's going on there, Lucky? Lady Luck? because you have something to lose. The signing companies are unregulated and have nothing to really lose officially with the state. Yeah. Yeah. We have a little bit more to lose. We can get, and see, this is what a lot of people don't realize. Anybody can start a signing company. And a signing company can start today and be gone tomorrow and then pop back up again. And with you being able to start and say, I'm a Delaware, I'm a Wyoming, all that, they can do that left and right. But people feel as though we have more to lose. We can lose our commission. You in Virginia, where I just found out we can lose our commission for 20 years if such and such. So if the deal gets done and everybody else that got paid and the notary goes to jail, they're like, okay. So once I realized that there's some people that's out there and they feel that way, I said, I gotta do this thing right. So it's imperative for me to do it right, you know. And that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do, because here's the thing. I know some of y'all are going to eventually become signing company owners. And what really makes me a little nervous is when you have human beings who used to be notaries who are now signing company owners, and they forget the fact that they were notaries, and they forget the fact that there are different laws, statutes, and regulations that the notary has to follow. And typically, when you have somebody that goes from this level to that level, they don't forget about where they came from. They remember that I used to be a notary. I might not have been a Florida notary, but I was a notary. I might not have been Georgia, I might not have been Wyoming, but I was a notary, and I understand the bare bone basics that each state has different guidelines that they want the notaries to follow. So, out of respect for them, I'm gonna make sure I don't put them in a position that they could end up getting in trouble. That's what I would like to see done on a consistent basis. But what is happening is that they tell us it's our responsibility to make sure we follow our state law. They're just implementing, they're just the middleman doing what the signing company said to do to get the job done. Okay. I mean, the title company to do to get the job done. The title company said, this is what we want done. So, notary, do it. But when you tell me it's my responsibility to follow my state law, and then my state law says I can't do what you said, then the question now becomes, are you going to back me and support me? And that's what happened. And see, this is all about relationships, people. And y'all hear me say this a lot. When a man and a woman get together, when even if it's same sex, whoever, whether in a relationship or business, father, son, mother, daughter, whoever, when you have a relationship with another person, from a person, a human being, and an animal, for the person who owns a dog, there's this mutual respect, and there's this thing that, okay, we got to work together. And in order to work together, we got to look out for each other, and we can't put each other in a bad situation. That's what makes a relationship strong. So when you have this business relationship and you're asking somebody, hey, can you do this? And then you realize that, oh, they really can't, and they're not lying to you. What do you have to do then? You either going to force them to do something wrong, or you're going to back them and say, hey, they can't do this. They're not allowed to do this. That's what we need across the board. And if we can have that on a consistent basis, I think things will be better. I think a lot of stress will be gone. And I think our eyes will be a little bit more open to see some of the tomfoolery that's going on out here, and not just buy into everything that's happening. But I could be wrong, you know. So, y'all got any questions, any comments, whether it's about this or anything? And see, and you're right, we are a team. When you're a team, you look out for each other, and you don't do it just so you can get a benefit. Okay, you don't do it just so you can get a benefit. You want, now, you will, you get a benefit, because if that person's doing their part and you do yours, you both benefit. That's what I want to see. I want to see everybody benefit to the level in which they can. Now, some people might benefit on a $10,000 a month level. Some people might benefit on a $5,000 a month level. But nonetheless, everybody benefits when we support and operate in conjunction with each other and respect for one another. if we're not doing that, yeah, you made your money and you're like, well, that's on y'all. You should. And that's what some of the signing companies are going through with some of the notaries. The notaries are like, look, I done made my money. I don't care, whether you get scam backs or not, it's inconsequential to me. Just pay me my money and I'm good. And that's the wrong attitude to have. Therefore, a lot of the signing companies are like, we're going to clamp down. Then the notaries clamp down. So everybody's clamping down and making things tighter and harder and tighter and harder. And at some point, somebody got to just back up. Let's pull this thing together. Let's find a way to work with each other. Let's find a way to respect one another. And let's focus on getting the job done. And part of the problem is that so many people are more focused on the money because that's what's being pushed out there. How you can make $150 in 30 minutes, how you can make $200 in an hour, and all this kind of stuff. And that tells you that folk don't understand what the notary business is about, or really what being a notary is about, because all they're focusing on is come be a notary and you can make $150. Come be a notary and you can make this money. And that's all they are focused on. That becomes a problem because that's what you program somebody to think, somebody to believe, somebody to feel. And then those same people who own signing companies are like, why the notaries acting this way? Why are they so money hungry? Well, because you told them to be. Why did the notary get up and walk out the signing after 30 minutes? Why did the notary print only the signature pages of a document so that they could get out of there in 30 minutes? Because you told them they can make $150 in 30 minutes. You're paying them $150, and they can clearly see that this 185-page document is going to take more than 30 minutes to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna only print out the signature pages. Well, I'm gonna print the whole document, but I'm gonna give them the signature pages, tell them sign these pages, and I'll put the pages back together later. So I'm in and out in 30 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So when you tell people these things, you're conditioning them to that, but then you're mad at them when they don't act professional. And this is what I'm seeing constantly over and over and over. And I know many of you see the same thing when you're in your Facebook groups. So what's the solution? It's going to take each individual to make up their mind to do right. And sometimes it hurts, financially it can hurt. There's some companies I know that don't use me anymore because I won't collect closing funds. He said, why did the notary create a question from the customer because they explained something that they didn't need to explain? Yeah. Well, y'all saw the video I did the other night where I pointed out what the signing company said. Hey, man. Yeah. Oh. Oh, okay. If you want, there's a bar stool downstairs that you can sit on. Oh. Hmm? Oh. We got a special guest, y'all. Mm-hmm. I'm moving over. Yeah, let me check. Let me move these things out the way. There we go.
You still gotta move over. Thanks.
Okay, hold on. There we go. Hey, y'all. So what's going on, people? So y'all got any question for Mrs. G? Anything from her? Said a good point, Mrs. G. Yeah. It's being emotional and impulsive. Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people out here are running their businesses and stuff from an emotional standpoint. They're scared that they're going to lose this. They're scared they're going to get blacklisted and what have you. What you need, babe?
Like I said, this it's good.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, we good.
There we go.
It's fine.
There we go. So what questions y'all got for Mrs. G, y'all? Or anything? So how things been going with you, babe?
Fine. Things have been going fine.
Oh, okay. You sure?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
things have been going. Things have been going fine.
Mm-hmm. Got her perfect hair.
I don't know about perfect, but it's hair.
Yeah. So any advice for people about just business in general?
Just business in general.
Or just how to stay focused and make it through? Because a lot of people been asking me about basically how to stay focused and how to with the downturn in the economy or just period and whether it's the notary business
Mhm.
or cosmetology or any business, how to just stay motivated and focused, or what do you do?
Well, I really work on focusing on minding my own business. um, Pun intended. Um, Even though I am on YouTube and all of that, that's it. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram. So I'm not constantly staring at what the other businesses that are in my same industry are doing. And so that way I can continue to focus on uh, what goals I have, what systems I need to put in place so that I can be able to reach those goals, and be able to make whatever adjustments I need to make. Um, as different challenges come up, because when you're in business, challenges are going to come up, they're going to occur, they're going to happen. And so if I'm focused on what everybody else is doing and what everybody else is saying and how they're running their business, then I'm not going to be able to really be focused on what I need to do when adjustments need to be made, when changes need to be made, when I need to pivot and go in a different direction, when I need to add things into my business, when I need to let some things go. And so, in this social media age where it can really drive your thinking and the way that you look at your business, whether you're a notary or whatever business that you're in, you have to learn how to stay focused. It's okay to look at what other people are doing, categorically. There are times when I have to put together information and I need a springboard or a starting point, but it's not something that I do all the time where I am every day looking at what the competition is doing. Um, I I know that in my business model, even the way that I run my school, is different from um, how all of the other cosmetology schools run their business. So me looking at them constantly, it really doesn't fit because I'm different than them and I want to be different than them. So me constantly looking at how they are doing things, how they're running their school, just doesn't really give me a whole lot of help. So um, constantly looking at other businesses, and how they're doing things and how people are promoting things on social media sometimes can get you in a place of where you're discouraged if you're constantly looking at somebody else. And so I've just learned to focus on me, and I think that has helped me a lot. Focus on my business. I have enough in front of me that I need to do and be responsible for, and so just to keep myself going and encouraged, I really work on my own business. I've learned to mind it. I've definitely learned to mind it. Yeah.
There's a question for you here.
Oh, okay. How do I manage balancing being a wife, business owner, and um, keep my sanity? Well, I will admit that um, me starting my school at the age of 50 helped because I am not in the phase of life anymore where my children are young. Our sons are are young adults, and so the responsibilities that I have at home are still there, but they're different. They're different, and so I just look at my each one of my days literally are in compartments. There are things that I do in the morning before I go in to my school and salon. And then there's things, of course, that I have set to do, scheduled to do when I'm on site. And then there's things that I have scheduled to do when I come back home. And the beginning part of my week is really busy with what I'm doing with my business. And then I literally have it set up so that I'm winding down as I get down to Thursday and Friday, and Saturday I'm completely closed. Um, and so that's my day of worship and my day of rest. So my husband will tell you that's just the way I operate. I really have a structure and a form, and it was harder actually when I worked a job, when I had a regular job, when I was teaching cosmetology school for the public school system. It was harder because my kids were in sports, we were at church, 4 years my husband worked out of town, so it was a lot. But I was used to, I mean, I had the grace to do it at the time. And so, for those of you who may be a mom and a wife, and you're running a business as well, you've got to really be organized. I will say that. You really have to be organized. You really have to stay focused. You have to, prep and prepare and get things ready. For your next day. You can't just let your days happen to you. You have to plan your days out. My husband knows I'm a planner. I'm not very spontaneous at all. I really am not. I am not spontaneous at all. That's just not in my personality. And when I got into education and teaching, we live by a calendar. So even with my clients that I do their salon services, I don't do walk-ins. I don't do same-day appointments. I have to know what I am doing for the entire week, and that's the way. That's the way I keep my sanity. I used to overschedule myself. I used to say yes to everybody. If they asked me to do something, oh yes, I could do it. Oh yes, I could do it. I stopped that because when you start allowing people to hijack your schedule, um, and they start telling you what to do with your time, then that's when you get burnt out. That's when you get stressed out. And I went a lot of years like that. And that I didn't even have a business back then. And so I went through that even with my business when I first started it, back in 2020 when I was teaching totally online during the pandemic and all of that. I overscheduled myself, and I went through a time of burnout. And so I was like, never again am I going to do that. So I've just really learned to get control of my time and learning not to waste time. A lot of times, people really don't get their time in order. There a lot of time is wasted on things that don't matter throughout the day. And if you work outside of your home, whether it's a job or you have your own business, you can't afford to waste time. So I don't do a whole lot of hanging out. I don't do a whole lot of hanging out with people. I just don't have that kind of time. I mean, like I said, I'm in a different phase of my life. So I don't want people to think like, what about me? I'm younger and my kids are younger. If your kids are younger, you're in a different phase in your life. You're getting lunches ready, you're getting kids ready for school. and things of that nature. So you really do have to be highly organized even in doing that. And that was something that I really had to learn. I spent a lot of my time playing catch up. So now I understand how important it is for me to prep and prepare and make sure that I have things ready that I need to have ready. We leave out the door together
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, and so us knowing what me knowing what his schedule is and what time we're going to be leaving in the morning and things of that nature has really helped me to figure out what I need to do at night, what things I need to do. You know, I got, like I said, I have things that I do at the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. And it's like clockwork. I had to get some systems in place so that I wouldn't always be playing catch up. So, so I could keep my sanity.
There's a question for you about your hair.
Thank you. Oh, how do I keep my hair hydrated? Well, right now, I shampoo it. Less is more for me right now. So right now, I shampoo and condition my hair with a sulfate-free shampoo, and usually I use a moisturizing shampoo. I think right now I have some Cantu curling cream in my hair, mixed with some Stay Soft Pro. That's it. I don't put a whole lot of products in my hair. It weighs it down if I put a whole lot of products in. So that's how I keep it hydrated. I usually put some of that on there every day, almost every day. If it's raining or really, really humid, for whatever reason, that humidity, that moisture that's in the air pulls whatever products may be in my hair, kind of pulls it to the surface. So sometimes I may not have to put anything in my hair for, a day or two. But it's good to stay on top of your hair with the hydration. If you have natural hair, especially, so that you can make sure that it doesn't get dry and it doesn't get brittle. And that's when it begins to break off, and then you start having issues there. But less is more for me. I keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody say over here that they're over shampooing.
That's right, yeah. It's on the screen.
Thank you. I think I'm over shampooing. Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that they wet their hair down every day. I don't mean if this good to go hair,
No,
but
you can go hair. You can go
I
wherever.
need to go hair.
You can
But
go ahead. You can go.
The thing about when you wet your hair down, whether you're just wetting it down with water or whether you're actually going through the actual shampooing and conditioning, if you are like, for my texture hair, we do have some natural oils in there, but really not as much as other hair textures. So you've got to understand that when you are shampooing your hair or wetting your hair down, because people say, well, I like my hair when in how it looks when it's wet. Well, you've got to understand that your hair is going through an actual process when you're wetting it down or when you're shampooing it. So like, for instance, mine, when I shampoo it, and everything, it just kind of it'll dry out. It'll dry out really quickly. So those first couple of days, the first 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 days after I shampoo my hair, I have to put a lot more product in my hair because it's soaking it in. It's soaking in the whatever I'm putting in it. Usually it's that Cantu curling cream and that Stay Soft Row. I usually have to put both of them in there. The first 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 days. So imagine if I'm doing that every day, just wetting my hair down with water, wetting it with water, and it's drying out and it's drying out. It's going to be brittle and it's going to break off. And so some people, if they have more natural oils in their hair, they can wet their hair down more. They may feel like they got the greasies or whatever. But if your hair is more on the drier side, I can go, once a week or once every 2 weeks or something like that and shampoo my hair. It really depends on how much product you use on your hair and your styles and things of that nature. But wetting the hair down every day or over shampooing can cause the hair to dry out too, because your hair does go through that process of being wet down and then drying out. And if you go back and do it the very next day, your hair is going to go through that process again, and it's going to dry out and it's going to get brittle and it may start to break. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. If you're wetting your hair down every day, or you're shampooing it every day or every other day, or even a couple of times a week. I can't shampoo my hair several times a week. The only time I do that is when my students are doing practical skills on my hair, and that's usually when they're using the straightening comb on my hair or things of that nature. Something other than that, I keep it very, very simple. So you don't want to over shampoo or over wet your hair. You do want to moisturize it and all that, but it's got to be balanced. It's got to be balanced.
So we need all of y'all to subscribe. I put her channel in there. So y'all subscribe to her channel. She got all kinds of videos up there. And even if you're not a cosmetology student, you can still learn some things on here, different hairstyles and all of that. So make sure y'all subscribe. She's at 612 subscribers. We want to get her monetized, okay? We want to get, because she got a lot of good information out there. And if you know hairstylists, even though they might not be in Virginia, but they need help, send them to the site and they can learn some things, okay? Now, they're not going to become a cosmetologist just because they looked at her channel, but they can learn some things also, okay? So if they need help, you send them up there and she'll be more than happy. And she did contact, and if she need to do some kind of session with them to find out what's going on, I'm sure she can find something affordable to do for them online if they're not even in the state. And she does. And if they're in the state and they need help, thank y'all very much for subscribing.
Thank you.
If y'all need, y'all got to get the likes up on the video. I guess y'all like what I'm saying. Maybe y'all like if y'all like what she's saying. Y'all like what she's saying, then go and hit the like button.
Yeah.
But, she also helps students, especially if they're in Virginia, to pass the state board exam. And she has the best state board prep exam or preparation course in the state, because there ain't really nobody else doing it. She's about the only one that's doing it in this state. So
I want to say this: find your difference in business. Find your difference. A lot of people, when they go into business, they spend their time trying to be like everybody else. They're trying to copy what somebody else is doing. They're trying to look like somebody else. They're trying to do everything like somebody else. Find your difference. Find what that pop, that point of pain that your community or your target market needs. And for me, it really was that state board preparation. There really isn't anybody else in our area that's offering face-to-face, hands-on state board exam preparation. And so I embraced that, and that became part of what makes me different, what makes my school different. One-on-one and micro group instruction, where everybody else is trying to have 25 or 30 or 40 people in the class. I'm the opposite. We will never have more than 5 people in the class. See, that's the difference. So you need to find your difference. And you need to make sure that you are focused on what you need to do in your business. Me and my husband talk a lot about notaries. We talk a lot about notaries, and I am not a notary. However, I've learned a lot about notaries from this notary. And the biggest thing that I hear is that people are afraid. Some people are overtrained. I think when I say overtrained, they go from training to training, from training to training to training. And the one thing about being trained or taught, mentored, coached, whatever, at some point, everyone, you have to um, you have to get to the point where you apply what you've learned. You have to start doing it. You have to get out there. And the only way you're going to be able to continue to grow as a notary is to get out there and to get that experience. Get that experience and build your resume, build your business, build your brand. One of the biggest things that my husband taught me when I started my business over 6 years ago. So I've been in business 6 years. And he told me, he said, look, he said, don't try to, buy all of this expensive stuff and put it in this school and salon right away. Now, of course, I was in a different location than what I'm in now. But even where we are now, I take things slow. I take things very, very slow. I look at what I can afford within my budget at any given time, and that's what I buy. Okay, I don't go out and overspend and things of that nature. There are times where I have lump sums of money that come into my business, and during those times where I have more lump sums come into my business, then I may be able to, upgrade. I may be able to do an upgrade. I may be able to, get some things that I wasn't able to get because I pay cash for everything. My business is debt free. And so I've been operating like that pretty much the whole time. I've had a few loans, but we just paid those off. And so you have to be disciplined. You definitely have to be disciplined, and you have to be focused, and you have to make sure that you're not spending unnecessary money when you start your business. That's the thing. When I first started my business, I think I was in a suite. I was in one small 10 by 10 suite, salon suite.
Yeah,
and I was working at Sally Beauty. And because I was working at Sally Beauty at part-time, I was working for Virginia Beach City Public Schools full-time as a cosmetology teacher. And then I started my business in the summer of 2017. And so I had to get enough inventory to start my business. So I bought just what I needed. Shampoo, conditioner, hairspray, gel, things that I absolutely needed to be able to get started right then and there. We did a open house, not an open house. We did a grand opening that lasted, for a while. We did specials and things of that nature, but I bought things as I went along. I didn't try to overspend and buy a whole bunch of fancy things that look good, but I hadn't made any money yet. And I think that's where people really get caught up, and then they get themselves under pressure. Like, I need to make this amount of money now, because they're trying to get a return on their investment, because they've overspent. They've overspent on training. They've overspent on, supplies, inventory, equipment, whatever. And I have a brick and mortar business. I have a school and salon. So there's a lot of, I have to buy mannequins. I have to buy equipment. I have to buy combs, brushes. I mean, everything that I have is like having a salon on steroids, because I have to buy 10 or 20 of everything. So when you really look at your business when you're first starting out and you haven't made any money yet, you want to make sure that you're not overspending on the things that you need. You have to just get what you need to get and obtain so that you can be able to get going, that you can start working, you can start doing business. That's the key. When we moved from where we were, well, we had one suite, then I got 2 suites, and that's when I was able to become a full-fledged licensed school. And even with that, we just bought what we needed to buy to continue to expand and do business. I just kept doing business, And then when we moved to the building where I'm at now, my husband continued to tell me, he said, we looked around, we had some contractors come in, and we paid for what we needed to do, absolutely needed to do to get open, because I couldn't open the building, I couldn't open the school and salon back up until I got permits to do so from the city. And so what we needed to do the most was clean and disinfect that building.
Oh yeah,
the building was trash.
Yeah,
the building was straight up trash. And so we had to clean. I think we spent $11,000 in 3 weeks. 11 in 3 weeks. And we were closed for 3 weeks. And, that's the thing. $11,000 is a lot. And that was just to get the place clean and just fix what needed to be fixed and buy what needed to be bought. The place didn't even really look like we wanted it to look, as far as it wasn't my brand colors, nothing. But keeping with what my husband has, and I'm working towards profitability. I am working towards profitability. It takes time. And see, a lot of people are looking at profitability. It takes time to build a business. It is not going to be built overnight. I've made it through a pandemic. I made it through a year of not being able to take students in during that lockdown. Because I was teaching online for a year? Oh, basically over a year I was teaching online. So, you have to work to get to profitability. You have to work. Now I've been able to expand. I've been able to improve. Yes, I had PPP and blah 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 and all the other alphabets. Okay, but all of that was to help me to stay open. Okay, that was really to help me to stay open. And once we made it through all of that, then we were able to continue to expand. I did very little, very little getting of loans and things of that nature. Thank you, son. And things of that nature, so that I want to try to remain debt free. That's the thing.
Now, profitability, the textbook definition of profitability is what you brought in minus what you have to pay, what you have left over. I think there's different ways you can measure profitability, as are you increasing your client base? Are you increasing the number of orders you're doing? Heck, are you just even being able to profitability, the textbook, yes, but I think there's some small milestones you have to hit to get to the ultimate of what profitability is. And then when you say, is it profitable to me? Is it fulfilling your need? Because there's people who are bringing in $10,000, they're only spending $3,000, so they got a $7,000 profit, but for them themselves, they're not happy with the business.
Well, I
They're
had to
not
learn.
right.
I had to learn to be disciplined
They don't have
because
the discipline.
I had to learn to be disciplined with the money as it has been coming in. My students are paying tuition and things of that nature. I have a different business model from all the cosmetology schools. Yeah, profitability doesn't always equal being sustainable. And so I had to learn to be disciplined that as people are coming to have two streams of income within the same business, tuition and people coming in and receiving salon services. So because of the fact of me, because I am in a brick and mortar business and I do a lot of my own work. I teach about 90% of that cosmetology course. And so I keep a lot of that money in-house because I don't have to pay all of these other people to come in and teach all these different parts of the cosmetology course. I do have 3 people that I have come in and I pay them to come in and do workshop style classes on the other, 15 to 10 to 15% that I do not teach. But my skill set is very wide. And so that allows me to be able to keep a lot of that money in-house. We clean our own building.
Mm-hmm.
We clean our own building. So how much are you willing to work? That's the key. You have to be willing to work within your business. A lot of times people, advertise owning your own business and being an entrepreneur, but it's work. It is work. It doesn't mean that you don't have work to do. And I'm not just the face of my business. I work within my business. And a lot of the freedom comes with the time. A lot of the freedom comes with the time, and how I can set up my schedule, my calendar, when I take my vacations, when I take my time off, things of that nature. So that's where a lot of the freedom comes in. But I've learned very, very quickly that it takes some time to build, to get your name out there, to have some staying power. You're not going to get rich quick and be thorough. Because most people, if they're trying to get rich quick, they're cutting corners, they're doing things the wrong way. And so if you're going to have some staying power and some longevity, and be successful, not overnight, but over time, you have to learn how to do things with character, with integrity. You have to learn how to do them the right way. I had to learn my state regulations for my industry. I had to, learn the law for my industry. I had to understand what I can do and not do within my industry. And I had to learn my craft because I went from just being a cosmetologist to being an instructor. And now I am an administrator. I am a principal of a school.
I'm the dean. I'm the silent dean. But also with the profitability, the question becomes, when are you supposed to see profitability? That's the question. A lot of people think that within milliseconds of them starting this business, they're supposed to do profitability and stuff. And then somebody had a question about hair.
Yeah, somebody had a question about how do you prevent getting knots at the ends of your hair? Well, usually it depends. Do you have natural hair? Because if you have natural hair, can I be the hall monitor? If you have natural hair, those tangles or those knots at the end of the hair can be for multiple reasons. It could be that you may need a trim, not your hair like cut short, but it may mean that you need a trim. Because sometimes when people need their hair trimmed, their hair starts to get tangled up at the end and starts kind of curling into each other. And then you'll also start seeing a lot of hair coming out in that comb and the brush, and it's a lot of shedding. So that may be the issue. It may also mean and this is if your hair is natural, I don't know. But if your hair is natural, you may have to work on stretching it more. Now that may be with wearing it more braided. You may have to braid it down at night, not tight or anything like that, not with a lot of tension, but just keeping your hair, maybe braided in plaits so it doesn't get tangled and it doesn't get matted up. If you're talking about when you shampooing your hair or conditioning your hair, you may have to shampoo it and condition it in subsections, and then start detangling it from the ends until you get up to the roots. You may have to use a leave-in conditioner. I prefer spray-in leave-in conditioners, and you won't have to worry about the hair being weighed down, being too thick. So it just depends on your hair texture.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, profitability. I think what has happened, especially for people who took in any kind of business class, they always talk about the return on investment. So there's in some cases, there's this thought that you're supposed to you're supposed to make back all of the money you invested into your business within a certain amount of time. And I think for the notary business, it's different because we have all of these ups and downs. Each state, each county, each city operates differently. The real estate market is so different. So somebody telling you you can make 10,000, 5,000 a month, 45, $450 in a couple of within like a half hour. All of that is good, but the question is, does it happen each and every day, every time? And then are you in a position to be there to get that money every single time that it's available? And for many of you, you're not, because a lot of the people that's coming into the business now, y'all are primarily still working a W-2. And I mean, I know at least 3 or 4 calls I've gotten this week. Everybody's still working the W-2. So if you're still working your W-2, but you're trying to find a way to still work it like you're a full-time person, but you really can only do it quarter time, you're going to be very limited in the amount of money you make. And the biggest problem, which goes back to what my wife was saying, you overspent to get into business. And many of you are spending money to get in this business like a full-time person, but you can only do it part-time or less. So if you can only do the business part-time or less, then why are you spending money to get into business like you're going to be a full-time? Why are you trying to get 2 printers when you really can only afford 1? And even if you can afford 2 and the scanners and all of this stuff, the question is, are you in a position that when the work comes in, you'll be able to hop on it? Because if you can't hop on it, then after a while, they're going to be like, okay, well, you're no good to us.
Yeah. I remember when you first started, of course, you started part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And you were still working your job full-time, and you had it set up where you were advertising or marketing yourself as the Hampton Roads #1 nighttime notary. And so a lot of times people will ask Griff, how do you market yourself? That's what he was doing. He was advertising himself as the #1 nighttime notary. And so that's when he was doing all of his work. He was doing a lot of his work after he got off from his regular job during the day, and he was doing all of those early evening, late afternoon and evening signings. And so, he was working towards what he's doing now. It was a process. For those of you who may want to go full time, he didn't just jump and do it. You know, he started doing it in 2018, and we sat down and we talked about it. And he said, well, this is what I want to do. Eventually, I want to come off of this job. He said, but I need to build experience. He had to build experience. He had to get his name out there. He tried
Stamina.
Stamina. He had to learn the business. He had to learn what the business was all about. And he had to learn his craft. And so that was something that he had to work on a little bit over time. What he knows now versus what he knew back then is like night and day. Same thing with me. I had to work. I was working in 3 places. I had started my business. I was working at Sally Beauty, and I was working for the school system. By the end of 2017, you know, I was literally go from one place to the next place to the next place. It was a lot. And so I really figured out that I had to let my other jobs go. By the end of 2017, I had stopped working part-time at Sally Beauty. And by, you know, the end of February 2018, I had, you know, retired from my school system job.
And I was still working, because when I first started notary, I was working full time. I was working Grubhub, Postmates, DoorDash, Instacart. And I think that was right after I had got let go from Amazon. So I was doing all kinds of stuff. And earlier, the lady asked about, you know, systems and things that new notaries, you got to set a goal. So my goal was, I want to make enough money from the notary business to get rid of all of the other gig stuff that I was doing. And it took some time, but I had to focus on it. And when the opportunities came, I took those orders. And yeah, I might have been out till 11 o'clock at night or what have you. And if things were slow, I'd be tired. And all of a sudden I get the little ring on the thing. Somebody need DoorDash, somebody need Grubhub. Put my clothes back on, go out and do it, you know. And then I set a goal saying, okay, if the order is for this dollar amount, I'm gonna go do it. And lo and behold, a $40 order come in for Grubhub. Now I got to make a decision. Am I going to be lying to myself, or am I going to keep true to my word? I made that as a thing to myself, that if the dollar amount is this, I'm gonna go do it. And then the dollar amount comes in at that or higher, I gotta go do it. That's what business people do. You say, well, if I ever got this contract, and then the contract comes, then you got to take it and go work it. But a lot of y'all are saying, a lot of people won't even make those statements, because you're concerned that if the opportunity came, now you got to make a decision. Yeah, I really would go full time in this business, man. If things started popping again, you know, them interest rates drop, and then all of a sudden they drop, and you like, oh, I guess I got to keep my word, because that might be that one time that you have an opportunity to hold true to what you said, and either you're going to go for it or you're not. And if you don't, you can't be upset with yourself or with anybody else for you not taking advantage of it. And that's what I started doing.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you have to work on. I figured out that I had to be present in my business. I couldn't be because I was working for the school system. It was cool when I first opened up my business, because it was the summertime. So of course, in the summertime, teachers are off, and I was able to focus on my brand new business. But then when August came and I had to go back to work, then me focusing on the business kind of went out the window. And I was only at my new, at that time, it was a continuing education business. I was only there once a week. And I was putting out money for this suite that I was in every month. And I was only there once a week. And I was like, oh, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. And so I had to make sure, I had to make a decision. If I was going to grow the business and be there, I had to be there. I had to know what that business looked like during the day, which I did not know, what it looked like during the week, during the day, what was happening around my business. You know, I had no idea because I was at my other two jobs. I was mostly there on the weekends because I was teaching classes there on the weekends. And like I said, I let my part-time job go first, and then I retired from my full-time job. And then I was able to, you know, be there and know what was going on, know what I needed to do, focus on, promoting my business, um, you know, just doing the things that I needed to do. And and I invested my own money. I
Hmm.
invested my own money, my own retirement accounts to start my business and to maintain my business. That was my capital. And so that's the thing that you really got to ask yourself. We've got to stop trying to be fancy. We've got to stop trying to be fancy. I like nice stuff. I do. But I had to really learn to be disciplined with the money that was coming in. I do take training myself. I take classes, I take certification classes and things of that nature. They're online. And some of them they offer for free. Some of them I have to pay for. And so I look at my budget and I take classes as they fit in my monetary budget. I have people that contact me all the time and want me to spend money on things. And if I look at it and I see that it's not in my budget, then I don't buy it. I don't buy that service. I don't buy that item because I know how much my overhead is. I know how much I have a building that we're paying rent on every month. I have utilities that I have to pay. I have to buy products. I have to buy, supplies and things of that nature. And we have to do upkeep on that building. So um, there's a lot that needs to be there. And I've had a lot of things donated to my school, which has been a huge help.
Yeah.
And so that's where the networking, if the networking that you're doing isn't adding value to your business, then what good is it? What good is it? All you're doing is sitting down having a whole bunch of expensive lunches and brunches and sipping stamps and blah blah blah. That's all you're doing. But if it's not adding value to your business, if it's not helping you to grow your business, then it's worthless. And so he knows that's how I look at it. And I do have a network of people that, you know, that a pipeline of people that I can call when I need help in a particular area. Those same people know that they can call me and I can call them. And we're connected in a particular way. Either I worked with them in the past, most of them I worked with them in the past, or I taught them in the past, and now they're in the industry and we're still connected. And so I had people that worked for Sally Beauty. Because I worked at Sally Beauty, we still stayed connected. And every time they closed the store down, they had to donate all of those products and supplies and salon equipment and things of that nature to a school. And so I got a lot of things that way as well. And so my husband found a building for me that didn't have to be built out. The building was already a salon. It already had stations. So it's a lot that you have to think about. And my husband, the first one I found, look, women, I'm gonna tell on me. Okay, I'm gonna tell on me. The first building, I wanted that building. And we went in there, we was in there with the commercial realtor. And I went in there and I was like, oh, pretty. Oh, it's a nice building. It's a nice building. I was just hyped about this building. I was like, yeah, we get this building. We get this building. And my, and my husband, he went in there. He's very, very observant. It's not that I'm not, I'm better at it now because I know what to look for now. I didn't know what to look for. That's why I said you got to learn your craft. You got to learn your craft. And he went in there and picked that building apart. He went in there, he was like, the ceiling is this, the floor is dipping, and this is that. and he literally told me, and this is for you that maybe are working with a spouse, okay? And I had to learn to listen. And he turned around, he's in the real estate agent said, "Can you use this space, Mrs. Griffin?" And I said, yeah. I'm still in that pretty mode. I was like, yes, I could use this space. And then he asked me some other questions, and I didn't really answer the question. And Griff turned around to me and he said, "You're not answering the question." I said, "Well, you didn't give me a chance. You didn't give me a chance." I was being emotional. Being emotional and doing business does not work. Okay? Really, it doesn't work. Being emotional and doing business does not work. So I was being emotional, and my husband was looking at me like, I don't care if you're being emotional. The man asked you a question. And I was being emotional. So my husband turned around to me. He said, "You don't have enough. Well, you don't have anything." I said, "What do you mean I don't have anything?" He said, "All we have is the two dryer chairs." Now, those of you who've gone to hair salons know you sit under a hair dryer if you're getting your hair set, right? My husband had bought me, two hair dryers from an online auction. Fantastic Sam's, which is a hair salon that was around here, had sold off everything. So anytime, a place was selling something, he would look for salon furniture to, buy for me, for my business. So he said, all we have is those two salon chairs. He said that everything else that you have in your suite belongs to Salon Plaza. And he was right. Okay? He was right. He really was right. And in those moments, I was in my feelings because I was being emotional. I wasn't looking at it logically. I wasn't looking at it realistically. I really wasn't looking at it realistically. And when I think back on, the man handed me this big packet that told us what we needed to have in order to get a commercial building. Okay. And when I sat down, they want everything. They want to know everything. Your firstborn, it's like they want everything. And it was such an eye opener. And I was really, really like upset because he was just like, you don't have anything. He just basically told me, he said, "You don't have anything." He was telling me the truth. So I got home and we was at home and I was like, "You embarrass me. You embarrass me. You embarrass me in front of that commercial realtor and blah, 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 blah. That's why I didn't want to take you with me." I'm saying it like that because I was in my feelings. You can never, if you don't get anything else from what I'm saying, you cannot be emotional and do good business. And I'm really thankful for my husband, and I was like, "Don't ever do that to me again," and blah, 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 and this, that, and the third. And so he's looking at me like, "Okay, I'm just going to let you talk. I'm just going to let you talk." And then I went upstairs and I read all of the things that was in that packet. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not ready. And see, I was actually the property manager where my business was housed at that particular time.
Mhm.
And so, I was just like, I better take myself back on over to where I was currently, running my business. And we need to get some things, you know, together. And
Mhm.
so I really had to learn not to be emotional while doing business, not to be in my feelings, to look at my business as it really was in those moments. And if I didn't like where my business was, if I wanted it to be further along, then I needed to look at what systems needed to be put in place, because you don't, like what he say, uh, James Clear, Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And everybody always talks about goals, goals, goals. I want to meet my goals, relationship goals, this goals, those type of goals. But most people don't have systems in place to reach said goals. People have vision boards and all of this stuff, but they don't have a system in place to get to those, to get to the reach those goals.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, look, I had to get out of my feelings. I had to get out of the, well, I don't own a car because our cars broke down. We just wore them out, and I was renting, and I was trying to get away from that because as a man, just be honest, as a black man, black people, man, we love our cars. I got to be rolling in a car. And Rob, my accountant, he said that's a business expense. He said, as long as you can afford it, keep doing it. He said, you're
Mhm.
not paying on the maintenance on it. They taking care of the inspection. He said, all you need to do, he said, when your son get a car, you put your name on the title for with your son's car, and now you get to keep your car insurance. And I was like, okay. I got out of my pride real quick. And to be honest, and there was some people who asked my youngest son why he at the gym, because we've been renting for like 7 years, maybe eight now.
Since 2014.
2014. Wow, that's that long.
That's when we
And
started. We was doing
yes,
it on and off.
on and off.
Yeah.
And guess what? They was asking him because they kept seeing me come up there in a different car, and they was like, "Do you own a car?" And I told him, I said, "Look, son," I said, "Here's what the deal is," and I explained to him. Yes, it may cost 800 to 1,000, sometimes 1,200 a month, but what I save in the maintenance and as much as I drive, and my wife, she'll tell you, we were spending a lot of money on keeping the cars together. I mean,
Oh, it was
transmission
$1,000
fluid
every time.
every time, $1,000. I mean,
$2,000. I was like, well, we might as well have rented the car.
and yeah, because then you have to rent a car to keep going. Because keep in mind, I'm still doing all these gig stuff, working, and we needed a car. So it's like the cars was breaking down. Go get the brake. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do brakes and stuff. And what really made me stop was that on Valentine's Day, it was rainy and I needed to change the spark plugs. And I'm out there in the rain working on the car, and I'm trying to get the daggone distributor cap off and all of that. And I did something and almost broke my wrist. And my wrist was messed up so bad that I couldn't even pick it up. I had a hard time even holding the pen, and I had to work through that stuff. But it was real. And I said, you know what? Forget it. I ain't working on no more cars. I'm just renting from here on out. And again, we was renting off and on. And then I just went full fledged. I'm renting, and that's what we've been doing. But it also makes me go out there and work because I tell you, I know some of y'all who don't rent cars, and I'm not saying you have to, but think about it. If you already got your car, you got your pay bill, your monthly payment for your car already taken care of because of your retirement or your spouse or whatever, I ain't going out there. That's too hot. It's too cold. It's too dark. It's too much light. It's too no. It's too many. It's too many. Too much gravel on the ground. I ain't going out there messing up my red bottoms. You find some reason, but when you renting a car and you know that the way to pay that car, the way you have to pay that car is through your business, you're gonna get your butt up and you're gonna take whatever order you can, $60, $70, whatever the case may be, so you can go out there and make money. Bring back memories of rejecting a death trap wheels almost bald. He was right, and I was upset at first. So yeah, that's the thing,
You gotta be on one accord.
Yeah.
There was definitely times, where I just didn't have a clear understanding, and we were stepping into a territory in my business, and that was getting that commercial property for my business that was going to be able to accommodate my business expanding. And that come to find out, that wasn't the building, that wasn't the one.
Yeah.
And where we're at now is a much better location,
closer to home,
7 minutes from our house, 30 minutes if I wanted to walk, and I've done it. If I wanted to walk, haven't done it this year, but you have to take all of those things into consideration. And that, as a notary, you have to think, as a new notary, what do I absolutely need, to start out? Don't spend, yes, you have to have, some monetary investment to get what you need done. You don't have to get the folders with the flashing lights on them. Okay, because there's, even with office supplies, you have from basic all the way to, really, really fancy office supplies. Don't go out there and get the fanciest clipboards or the fanciest folders. Get the things that you absolutely need to get started. Keep your initial investment as low as possible. And then as you begin to get the work and start bringing in money, and then you have to kind of reinvest in your business. And that's the thing. Most people don't want to reinvest in their own business. They want to just make the money. I've seen people, especially in my industry, people that do hair, I've seen people just walk around. They get that money. A lot of times people are still paying in cash, as paying barbers and paying hairstylists in cash. And it's very easy to walk around with that money and just go spend it. And even when I was getting paid smaller amounts of money, I would take that money and put it right in my business bank account and deposit it. Because you're building a track record. You're documenting. Because once you become an entrepreneur, you don't get a paycheck anymore. So you've got to be able to document the money that you have coming in. I set up my Square in such a way that I could see where my money was coming in at, in each category. And then that way, when somebody asked me, well, how much money did you have come in, last year or whatever, in Square, it's broken down. From every year that I've been using, I've used it every year that I've been in business. So, you can do that as well. Find out what, if you really can't afford to, take this training that everybody else may be taking, then find out what resources are out there for notaries that is no cost, free, or low cost, that fits within your budget, so that you can continue to learn and grow and develop in your craft, and continue to grow that way. But don't just keep taking training after training after training and you haven't brought any money in yet. You're going to be in a deficit. You're going to be in a deficit as a notary. You want to make sure that the training that you're getting applies to you, applies to the city and the state that you live in.
That's like what I've been saying.
Don't keep taking, training that's irrelevant to the state that you live in. Make sure of that. So don't just think that, notary training is one size fits all. There's 50 states, and each state has its own set of laws. And so you want to make sure that the training that you are receiving is relevant to the state that you live in. And the only way that you can know that that training is going to help you become an effective notary is if you know your state law. Okay? And so that's the thing. And the only way that you're going to gain confidence in anything, I don't care what you're doing, you have to do it to gain confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do it. I wasn't always a school owner. So the confidence that I have now is from me actually doing and fulfilling the responsibilities of a cosmetology school owner and a salon owner. But I had to learn my state law. I had to learn my state law and regulations, what I can do and what I cannot do. I had to learn the scope of the practice. Okay, your SOP, your scope of practice. And I function within that scope of practice. So I don't care if people are like, well, I ain't got to do all of that, or you should do that. I don't operate with what other people say. I go by the state law. And if I'm not sure, I call the state. I call my regulatory agency, DPOR, my friends at DPOR, the Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. Okay, I call them and I ask them if I'm not sure. If I'm not sure, I'll call them and ask them, and I get clarification. And they will tell me, yes, I can do thus and so, or no, you cannot. And it's as simple as that. And when I learn how to operate within my state law for my industry, I don't have to worry about getting, bit in the behind later on because I'm outside of my scope of practice. Now, how does that apply to notaries? If you don't know your state law, you can end up operating illegally and outside of your scope of practice when you don't know your state laws. People can talk you into doing whatever. They can talk you into doing what is their personal preference so that they won't have to do it, but you'll be operating outside of your scope of practice for your state. So as a notary, you need, as part of becoming a good notary, becoming an effective notary, you want to make sure that you know, understand, and do your state law. CUD, know, understand, and do. CUD, your state law. Know, understand, and do. That's very, very important. And most people don't want to learn, know, they don't bother to understand, and so therefore they're not doing their state law. And so you definitely need to know that. You have to read, and you have to read for comprehension.
Now right here, now this is what a lot of people say, this first part. Yes, you absolutely need great training. The question is, what are you getting trained in? Because you can learn your state laws without paying somebody. You can, and knowing what you need to do per your state, because they have a handbook. The question, here's what people are trying to get trained in. They're trying to get trained in how to explain and how to share, or what to say about the documents. That is really what a lot of people, not saying that that's what you're saying here, but what I'm saying is a lot of people say, yes, you absolutely need great training. The problem is a lot of the trainers who currently exist out there that are training people, those notaries aren't doing great notarial work. I just received, while we was here, I've received the email from a signing service saying that there's all these errors again popping up. And the error comes from the notary not doing their job right. So, as much as they know what to say about the documents, they don't know how to understand how to properly notarize, or they having people do stuff on documents that a trainer told them to do that is not actually legal or even allowed. So, the people who are training you, they got to have it together. Going back to what my wife said earlier, are they training you with stuff that fits your state? And then the thing is, they're saying, well, an escrow officer wants this, but does that escrow officer speak for every escrow officer throughout all 50 states? The answer is no. So, as I showed y'all in the video a couple of days ago, what did it say? It said we are not authorized to discuss the terms of the loan or even go over things that's on the settlement statement. So, if the the title company is saying that, if the title company is telling us not to do this, and that was Nation Star Title Company, which is Mr. Cooper Loan, and they're one of the biggest ones in the nation. If they are the ones saying this, if the title company is saying, don't run your mouth about the documents, if they got questions, have them call the loan officer, then somebody is telling us wrong. Because if the title company is saying this, and then the trainer is saying no, do something different, or this escrow officer or this other title, what is the truth of the matter? That's really what you got to find out. So the great training should be focused toward the truth of what you're supposed to be doing. If it's not focused on getting you to operate within truth of what you're supposed to be doing, then it's not great training. And the thing is, who has great training out there? Somebody got a question?
And that's good what you said. You have to find people who have been in the business for some time and can demonstrate great results. And like I said, I'm not a notary, but I pay attention to what's going on in the notary business because my husband's a notary. And the thing that I have noticed and that I have seen, especially if you're, getting, a lot of online training, is that a lot of the people that are offering training, mentorship, coaching, whatever they want to call it, have not been in the industry that long themselves. So you've got to remember that a person can only teach you out of their own experience. If they have only been in the industry or actively doing notary signings or notarial work for 6 months, how much can they really teach you?
Mm-hmm.
How much can they really teach you when they only can teach you the 6 months? They're only 6 months ahead of you. So that's what you really have to think about. If then you may have people that may have been a notary for 20 years, but when is the last time they've actually been out in the field working and actively doing notary work? There may be people that have been in the industry that long, but they're no longer actively working in it. They're doing a lot of other types of work or running a lot of other types of businesses.
And
so they no longer have their finger on the pulse of what is actively going on in the industry.
And that's the biggest thing, because if you think about it, a lot of the trainers are moving notary. It's like an assembly line. Come in, they tell you to come in to be a notary. You can make this amount of money in this amount of short time. And then it's like, now you move on to this next thing. So it's like, come in, be a notary. Now write a book, start a YouTube channel, start teaching, and start a signing company. And you came in just to go ahead on and do the notary and bring in like another $2,000 a month. And now they got you doing all this other stuff. So when you say they got, demonstrate great results, are the results that they're demonstrating the results that you want? Now, if the results that they're demonstrating is we making money and you just want to make money, okay. I really want to get good and master the notarial part. And there's not a lot of people that's out there focused on that.
And that's good what you just said. If you just jumped in to make fast money, and haven't learned how to do your job properly, you will not be successful. And that's really what's happening. That's really, in a nutshell, what is happening. A lot of people are jumping into the notary industry and thinking that it is fast money.
And then they move over and then they move on to something else. Because once they realize that, I'm be honest, there are a lot of people that have told me straight up, men and women have said, I don't want to do what you do, Griff. What does Griff do? 60, 70 signings a month. I don't want to do that. They don't, and it's not about I don't have time to do it or whatever. They're like, nah, I wasn't expecting to do that. I was expecting to do maybe 20 signings a month and make about 6, 7, 8 grand. And I was like, okay, so you talking about $300-400 a pop. Where are you getting that from? Well, that's what I heard. That's what I saw. So that's what I want. Again, I always say what? How you market the business determines how people come into the business. You're marketing it for people to make $8,000 a month off of 20 or less signing. That's what they're going to expect. And then people get upset when the notary is sitting here telling the signing company, I want more money. Why you want more money? Well, somebody in this sphere said I can make this kind of money, so pay me. Well, we can't do that. We can't pay you $400. And that becomes a problem. So do you really want to work? If you don't, it's okay. But my concern is that you got people just sitting up here lying and y'all believe in them. Y'all believing that it's just some kind of little magic pill. Y'all know better. Y'all don't believe that stuff in your W-2 work. Somebody say, oh yeah, all you got to do is just show up Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and they'll pay you for a full 40-hour week. Y'all would not accept that whatsoever. Y'all would let your husband or your wife come. Yeah. Why are you home today? Oh, well, they told me I only had to work 3 days a week. Who said that? Fred. Who's Fred? The boss? No, Fred. He's the guy that works he's the guy that works back there in the warehouse. But Fred's there every day. And he's telling you to only come there 3 days, but Fred is there every day. Y'all wouldn't even buy that. Y'all wouldn't even go with that. Let me say here, I only really wanted to learn from the best, those who have results I want to achieve. And again, you got to define what it is that you're trying to achieve. If it's just about the money, then yes, you'll go from thing to thing to thing.
She said it's not all. Well, this person, A Grateful Life, said it's not all about the money, and it's true. When you're in business, yes, you are in business to make money. Don't get it twisted, okay? But if that's your only driving force behind it, you know, there at the times when you may not be making as much money as you want, then you're going to want to get out. You're just going to want to get out. And like I said, I worked through a pandemic. Of course, we weren't making as much money as, we wanted and things of that nature. But I had to work through it. Work through it until we got to a point in a better place. And for us to be able to move into a bigger building and expand during a pandemic, and we were still in a semi-lockdown situation, in our state at that time, was really a blessing. And we just had to stay focused. And for what I was doing, there really isn't any, big time training out there for this is how you open up a school. It really isn't any training. I'm literally learning as I go along. And so I really had to make sure that I really understood that I was 50 when I started the business. So I don't have time to be having big time setbacks and making a lot of poor decisions and bad decisions that's going to cost me a lot of money, that I'm not going to be able to replace easily. So I have to make sure that, I'm doing the right thing, that I'm understanding how I'm supposed to be running my business. And I think that, like my husband said, how you enter into the business, the perspective that you have when you come into the business is going to dictate how you function within the business. Because if you come in under stress and under duress and under the illusion that you're going to make 6 figures. I'm going to be a 6-figure notary. I'm going to, that's what I'm going to get. And then when your expectation doesn't meet reality, then you're going to be disappointed.
And that's why, and see, if y'all don't understand, to me, and they might not even be doing it on purpose, but this is what's happening. By telling you and setting the goal, they're telling you what your goal is. They're telling you your goal is 6 figures. It is? Yeah, it is. I'm telling you, your goal is 6 figures. So now when you start on this notary journey and you realize that what you started off doing, being a notary, whether general notary, apostille, loan closings, it's not generating 6 figures. Oh, it's not? Well, here's what you can do. Now shift over to this, and then to this, and to this, and to this. Now, let's just be real. Right now, there's an overabundance in trainers, and there's an overabundance in people starting signing companies. And guess what? With both of them, you need what? Bodies. You need notaries coming in. So who's going to do the work? Because if 30% of the people who come into this business per month is switching over to being a trainer, and if 30% of those plus maybe even 30% flat out are saying, I'm gonna start a signing company, you probably gotten about 50% of the notaries who's coming in are switching over to not to doing non-notary work, meaning they want to run notaries, they want to manage notaries. But then here's the problem: the remaining 50% of notaries don't know how to do their job that good, or a small portion of them only knows how to do it good. So guess what? That's where the money is at. So if you got 50% of the notaries who are now going to be signing company owners and trainers and mentors, and then out of the 50% that's left, 35% aren't really that good at doing the job. They don't have the stamina, the mental fortitude, the focus, and the toughness. Well, then guess what? Next thing you know, they're going to be out. They're going to be put out and everything. So this is why it is very, very important for you as a notary to stick with and get good at being a notary, because guess what? The notary business is going to shift. Today, I had two great meetings that I didn't even expect to have. I go do a reverse mortgage. Next thing I know, the reverse mortgage person is saying, we need to do lunch together. I said, and do some coffee. I said, no problem. Let me know when and I'll be there. Then I go and do another closing with this guy. And he's like, hey, yeah. And it's 4 of them. And he said, yeah, we got to figure out how we're going to get the guy that's in Spain to sign this paperwork. I said, I can help him with that because I do online note. He said, but you do? I said, yeah. Before I even finished explaining things to him, he had already started sending an email to his people to say, check with the bank and find out will the bank allow electronic notarizations. So I'm just waiting to hear back from him. This is what I'm talking about. The notary stuff is going to be there. Not everybody's going to want to get trained. Not everybody's going to want to mess with a signing company. Not every signing company is even able to stay out here, but the notarial work will be here. You got to decide whether you're going to be willing to do it, because it's like this. If you stop saying, I don't want to take training anymore, I'm tired of your training, it's really not helping me. And what are those people going to do? Those notaries who have got training companies, those notaries who got signing companies, and it's not popping. Now they got to make a decision. Are they going to stay in the business or are they going to leave it? Because if they stay in, that means they got to come back into being a notary. And if they want good notaries, and if they want good notaries from the get-go, guess what? They're going to have to get out and
be prepared. They're like
hold on, let me say this real quick.
Go ahead.
Truth is, a lot of the people who are out there starting these training sessions, these companies, and some of them who even starting signing companies, they weren't that good at being a notary. They struggle with it. They struggle doing it and understanding and comprehending the notarial part of it. So they switched over. Go ahead on back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's true. Be ready to do business. Be ready to take advantage of opportunities so that when they do come, you can be able to step through that door. And most people are not. Most people are just out there doing business. They're not doing business. That they're just hanging out, or it's just really become a hobby. And so, it goes back to what he's saying: respect my business. Are you running your business in such a way for people to respect it? For you to be able to stand up and say, you need to respect my business. And you're really not going to be able to do that if you're shucking and jiving, if you really don't have things set up legally, if you don't have proper systems in place, if you're not professional, if you're not on time, if you don't look the part, all of these things go into wanting people to respect your business. And then that's when you have to kind of do the self-inspection on your business and say, where is my business? Where am I? Where's my business? Has it grown? Am I in the same spot that I was when I started? And listen, if you're not getting better, growing, if you're not doing something to grow and develop and get better each and every day, you become stagnant and then you start going backwards. So then you got to ask yourself, am I doing something every single day, personally and professionally, to grow and develop and get better each and every day? Yes or no? And that's the thing that you've got to start doing self-inspections on yourself and on your business. And if you don't like where you are personally and professionally, then start making some adjustments, start changing some things, start putting some systems in place, because you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's what it says in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. Okay, so what are you doing? And it's good, it's good to get training or get help and things of that nature. But at some point, you've got to move from just receiving information all the time. We're so information rich, but application poor. So you've got to move from the point of just getting that information, and you've got to move to the point of actually doing it, because you don't ever really learn it, and where it becomes enduring information, until you start doing it. So that's something that you really got to keep in mind for those people that are saying that they're nervous and that they're scared and all this kind of stuff. Yes, you may be a little nervous when you do something for the first time or the second time, but each time that you do it, you gain confidence along with the experience. And when you gain confidence and you gain that experience and you gain that you build that resume, then you can begin to build the business. And as your business builds, then you can work towards profitability. And that's how it works. But so many people are worried about, I got to get the return on my investment. I got to get to profitability. I got to get to this. And they don't have any systems in place to get any of that. No systems in place. And for a notary, you got to learn how to be a good notary. Like me, I had to learn how to become an effective instructor and teacher. People have to be able to trust me that I know what I'm doing, that I'm going to teach them what I say I'm going to teach them, and that I'm not going to just waste their money or their time or both. So you've got to kind of go through and have that self-inspection list where you look at your business honestly and say, where is my business? Kind of take a step back from all of the glitz and the glamour that everybody has been kind of flashing at you. Six figures a year, 10 grand a month. Hey, step back from all of that and look at the business, how it really is realistically. What's going on in your area, your city, your state, your town, all of that.
I'm reviewing business ethics and reviewing yeah. And that's what I'm doing with the members. I'm helping the members, the people who are my YouTube channel members. I'm helping them if they're for real, I'm helping them. And look, like I keep sharing with people, the membership is for people who need help. If you're just here just to spectate and just I get it. And that's why I put videos out. And there's over 800 videos in here on my channel that you can learn from and not cost you a dime. Okay. And that's why, I mean, this isn't about me trying to make money off of this. I mean, some people will donate, some people won't. That's why I don't really push it. Every now and then I might mention it, but it's really about because you have already, by the time most people learn about Griffin Notary on YouTube, you've already spent a buttload of money with everybody else. You've already taken 2 or 3 courses. You've already bought all of this stuff. You've already traveled all these places. And then you realize it's really not helping me. And you're like, I need help. And then you hear about me, you come across my channel and you realize, okay, well, maybe this guy can help. And then I'm gonna help you. So if you for real, join the channel membership, you need help, you get one-on-one help, all of that. But nonetheless, if you look at the videos, and I keep sharing with people, if you look at the videos, a lot of the questions that you have will get answered. You look at the Notary Basic playlist. All you got to do is click on the picture, my picture underneath the video or the channel name, go to playlist, and you'll see the Notary Basic playlist. Look at those videos. And there are a lot of people who see 1 or 2 videos that I have. And guess what? They're like, oh, I'm gonna call Griff. And then they want me to give them all of these answers because they don't really want to look at the videos. And I'm like, you need to look at the videos because anything that I tell you on the phone is going to be in the videos. That's really where it's at. So if you take the time out and do that, and then you can replay that video over and over again, and then coming to me and ask me follow-on questions after you looked at the video, that's going to be a lot more effective for you. But most people who are not in the business mindset or haven't gotten there yet, they're like, well, just tell me what to do. And I can tell you what to do, but it may not be applicable. I don't know your situation. I don't know where your spouse is. I don't know where your I have a membership. If you look on the video, it says join, that join button, you click that. And one of the things when people start asking me, tell me what to do to be successful in this business, I don't know what your family structure is. What is your family going to really be there for you? If they are, cool. If they're not, no matter what I tell you, it's going to be hard. And see, if you're the kind of person that you feel you need to have your family and have them say things and show you support, and they don't, you're going to struggle because you're like, I need my family, I need them. And my wife would tell you, I told my sons, I said, there's some things that I got to do for this family. And I know y'all may not understand all of it, but guess what? I'm gonna go do this. I said, I'm gonna be here for you. You need me, just tell me, but I gotta go do what I need to do for the family, whether y'all understand it or not. I'm gonna just go do this because I believe in this and I know this will help. But I had that conversation and I knew that I had to be an example of I'm gonna go do this thing no matter what. And that's what I did. And I figured by doing that, they would eventually get on board. And I said, this Angela, one of the members, she said, and he does like I've forgotten types of paper to use, printer side different, all that monthly membership has more than paid for itself. Yeah, she caught me and Angela talk a lot, do videos, video zooms together to just help her out with whatever, getting her printer set up, all of that stuff. So I provide y'all with the help that's going to help you get the business done. And see, a lot of people, yes, they will share stuff with you. And look, if you've never heard this anything before, when you hear it, you think it's brand new. It's like, oh wow, you never did anything with marketing, you never did a business. So they talk about marketing, Google, whatever. Wow, that's new. Okay, yeah. But the practicality of it is this: do you know how to properly notarize that page with the signature on it? If you do, cool. Do you have the ability to sit here and look and realize there's a document that has some verbiage on it, and there's these two blank lines, and then there's a notarial certificate? Well, I'm not going to fill that out. Y'all don't have to sign this. No, yes, they do. Why don't they need to sign it? Just because they don't have their name underneath the signature line doesn't mean they don't sign it. Some people will do that sometimes. They will give you a document that does not have a signature line on it. For whatever reason, they won't do it. And it's a company out there, they haven't done it in the 5 years I've been out here. And they got signing companies that tell notaries, and when you see this document, oh man, which it was an affidavit or something, you have to have them sign, even though it doesn't have borrower, seller, purchaser, or their name. You have to sign where it says signature for the notarial certificate, whether it says notary or signature of notary or not. You have to sign your notarial certificate. These are the things. And if you can't handle that, but yet you want to be a six-figure notary, because how you going to run a signing company because somebody send you stuff back, you won't even realize that it's wrong. But then yet you want to fuss at them because it's wrong, but then you as a notary was doing wrong. So these are small little things that I'm trying to help people to fix, because I personally believe if I can help you get to becoming a good solid notary, you will be able to make money in this business, and then the signing companies will be much more happy, much more satisfied with the outcome of what we're doing. And then I believe the pay can be higher, because how can somebody negotiate to get you higher pay when you're making a high level of mistakes? They're never going to do that. They're going to make sure they get paid, but they're not going to do anything to make sure you get paid. I can't say I want more money to pay these notaries when the notaries are making these grave mistakes. That's a big thing. And then now I'm only the notary. She's not a notary. However, what that means is we talk and listen to each other. So for her to be able to talk the way she talks, she's listened and heard what I've said about being a notary. I'm here to be supportive. I enjoy my business. Unity of the notaries. Yeah.
And there's wrong, and there's nothing wrong with being part of, like you said, a community that is trying to learn. You're supporting one another. You're building an effective network of people where you can help build and edify one another. It's just that a lot of people have gotten into situations where they're a part of groups where they're getting torn down and fussed at, and
If you question
it,
anything,
yeah, it's just so much negativity. They can't even ask questions, things of that nature. So a lot of what's been going on with a lot of people, they're not getting work. They haven't gotten information that is relevant to where they live and how they're going to be able to function in their city, state, county, all of that. And so they're just kind of at a standstill. uh, Forget about profitability or return upon investment. They're not even getting notifications. They're not even getting selected.
Well, some of the people what I'm finding out, and I think most people realize that after they take certain types of training or trainings from certain people, that training really isn't going to help me move forward. You have it in your gut. You have a gut feeling like, no, and that's why I keep asking y'all, just ask some questions, ask them the relevance. There's a video I have out there, and let me pull it up, and we're gonna close this out. But let me pull this video up real quick. Um, Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me also show y'all this. So one of the things you can do is, as you see here, I searching for a video of mine, Griffin Notary um questions. And there's a video out there that right here. Questions to ask a notary trainer before dropping money. So one of the ways you can find videos of mine is just type in Griffin Notary and then the subject. Whatever subject you think, I'm talking about or you heard, and then I'm going to drop this into the chat. This video is about questions that you need to ask a notary trainer before you spend money with them. And this is something that I've heard a lot of people telling me they wish they had done. They're like, yeah, I wish I would have asked this. Which so I compile a list of questions based off of conversations that I've had with other notaries, as well as questions that I felt that I would ask, and then some sub questions. And I came up with a whole list of things, 6 questions with a bunch of subsections to them that you should ask a notary trainer before spending money with them. And you can modify that for a mentor or a coach or whoever. You need to ask them these questions because here's a key thing: as a business owner, you have every right to inquire and to verify that this is going to be a good investment of my money. So ask them. I mean, look, my YouTube membership is only $3.99, and I have people talking to me like a half hour trying to find out whether that $3.99 is worth it. And I'm like, okay, cool. But these are the same people who just spent 400 or 500 with these other folk and didn't ask them any questions. But I get it because now that they feel they've been burnt, now they're more inquisitive. Like, okay, let me find out, make sure this is. I get it, and I don't take offense to it. But I'm trying to encourage y'all to do this prior to, because when the real estate market shifts, and it's going to, don't know when, and there's going to be a buttload more notaries out here. My goal is to get y'all prepared so that y'all can be the top notaries out there in your areas by knowing how to do things. Because one of the problems is that when these companies get inundated with work, then they start taking shortcuts. They start like, okay, well, don't worry about it. Just date it for this and date it for that and backdate. And they're gonna ask you to do stuff, and you got to be willing to say, no, that's not right. You got to be willing to walk away from certain companies when you realize, okay, you're gonna keep asking me to do stuff that's jacked up. You're gonna keep getting me documents late and this, that. Okay, I'm gonna have to back away from you. So that's the goal of what I'm trying to do here, whether on the membership side or the non-membership side. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. And I know that the people out there who are doing the course selling and the mentoring out, they're going to keep doing what they're doing because it's bringing in money for them. They don't, they're going to do it. And my thing is, you do you. But what I'm going to do is do everything I can to help those who need help, those who realize it. And once you realize it, then Griffin Notary is here to help you out. So, let's see. I see how that can. Yeah. And not everybody can teach. Not every look. I'm gonna say this here, and then we're gonna get on up out of here. But look here. Mostly, all you got to do is compare what I do on this channel to what they do on theirs. Very rarely am I selling stuff on here. Very rarely am I trying to get y'all to buy anything. I mean, even recently, I talked about I'm doing Ron training for Dot Verify. People who are interested in Dot Verify. I've only had 2 people say yeah, because most people are like, well, no, because it's not fancy enough. And I don't have come with the fancy, and they come with the fancy stuff, and they're like, okay, yeah, and people buying the fancy. I don't do fancy. But here's the thing: they're trying to get you to buy something all the time, and they're talking about what they're going to buy, what they should have bought, and what they just bought. That's all it is. A lot of the time, the people on this YouTube channel, and they're doing just enough to keep you interested, but they're not really teaching you anything solid. I'm trying to do my best to teach you solid stuff that you can use in everyday notarial situations.
And what's the first step to becoming good notary? You got to learn your
Notarial
notarial
law
acts.
acts, you got to learn those in your
Yeah,
laws. That is the first step. The first step is to understand what a notary is and what your role is. I have a video let's let's go to the tape. You need to go on, baby.
And you got to really understand what the notarial acts are, because there are people that have contacted him and they really don't know the actual basic notarial acts, where they're supposed to stamp, where they're supposed to sign, who is the signer versus, who is the notary. And
All right, right here.
yeah, they
I got this video that I did 2 years ago. Now look at here. This is how you can tell whether people really care about, to me, about being a notary. It only has 937 views and it's been out there for 2 years. That tells you that, okay, that ain't something that really interests the people, that they're not interested. So oops, typing way too fast. So y'all check this video out. What is a notary public? And this is information coming straight from the National Notary Association. Okay. So you understand that everything else should fall in place. So when you understand what you're supposed to do as a notary, everything that you learn is supposed to continue to build the foundation on for that. But what you're hearing is out here is the glitz and glam. Everybody is pushing the glitz and glam. And that's why I say it's like network marketing. That's why I have the video out there, the notary pyramid scheme. Okay. Because it's like a pyramid scheme where it's like, come in, take my course. Now, if you want to make some extra money, push my course out there. Here's an affiliate link. You want my mentorship program, tell people about my mentorship program. Here's an affiliate link. So they got you pushing their products out there. That's why they want you to put their courses in your profile so other people, notaries, can see, oh, I see. You took that course. Let me try. You see what I'm saying? Even with some of the comments that I see on my YouTube channel, it's like, hey, I took this training over here because they want you to click their affiliate link so they can get paid. So they end up getting more money off of affiliate links than actually doing notary work. And I don't understand why y'all don't see that game. If y'all actually open your eyes and allowed yourself to see it and believed it, you would be like, whoa. And a lot of this stuff would stop. But you want to believe that, oh, no, they not like that and everything. So the first thing is this. Now, very few people are actually doing hardcore teaching on YouTube. And the reason why is because to do it like what we're doing here tonight, it's free. They're not if they're monetized, they make whatever little money that YouTube says they'll give them for the commercials that be popping up. I think like tonight, every 18 minutes, a commercial popped up. So they make a little bit of money off of that. And you got to make what you like on average, you might say every 1,000 views, somebody might get like $25, $30. So they got to get all these views, and that's a lot harder to do. So it's easier to say, hey, I got this course and come here, click the button and give me $400. And they can make a lot more money a lot quicker than that. And it's some discipline and some effort to do this, to do this YouTube, and they don't want to do it. That's why they just do quick stuff on Instagram, TikTok, and all of that. And everything ends in click the button to buy my course, click the button to buy my course. That's really where it's at. So it's some effort to go into actually teaching and sharing on YouTube. And a lot of people don't have the stamina. A lot of people don't even have the discipline, and they're not that effective as being a teacher. Yeah, good hype, man. They're very good hype. They get you pumped up. But when you get that notarial certificate in front of you, you like, dude, I don't know what to do. Then that becomes a problem. So we're going to let y'all roll, party people. Thank y'all very much for everything.
Thank you.
And members, check out the community tab. We're going to get together on Sunday at 6:30. So check out the community tab, members only meeting, and we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, whatever y'all need to talk about, ask questions on. Now here's what's even interesting. On average, I think I have normally between 90 and 100 members at any one time. And guess what? Most of my members only meetings is probably about 12 or 13 people. Yeah, 12 or 13 people. Be a lot more so you can learn some things. But I get it. Um and see, the thing is, we got to make sacrifices to get the knowledge and information that we need. And if you're unwilling, sorry about that, y'all. Y'all know me. I gotta my stuff ain't just right. It bugs me. It's too low, but I'm about out of here. But we gotta make the sacrifice to show up, because sometimes the way we want things and the training we want and the time we want will not always be at the time we want. We sometimes just gotta bite the bullet and go out there. That's why sometimes y'all see me up 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, throwing out videos, because I know I got a busy day the next day and I don't have time to do a video. So I just stay up late and do it. I'm up late prepping documents. When I finish this here with y'all, I got at least 2 sets of documents to prep. One of them is getting no, only one set of documents, because both of them, I got 3 closings tomorrow. 2 of them are getting shipped to the signers, and only one. So I only got 1 set of documents to prep, and that probably be maybe 70 pages or less. It's a AMROC one. So I do what I got to do. I make the necessary sacrifice. And I know sometimes you don't want to really wear yourself out, and you got all this stuff going on, the kids, the husband, the wife, all of that. That's why I keep saying you got to have a conversation with them and say, hey, look, here's what I'm trying to do. And I got to have a little bit of time to sacrifice to get this business up and running, regardless of the business. Just support me, be there for me. Don't do things that's going to cause me to have to take my focus off of that unless it's a true emergency. Let's not get in arguments, honey. Kids, stop burning down the house. Dogs, stop pooping and peeing all over the place, so that I can focus on doing this business and get it to where it needs to be for the family. And that is a conversation that you're going to have. If you're unwilling to have that, you cannot expect your family, no matter how much they love you, no matter how much you love them, to just by osmosis and automatically know that, oh, because you started a notary business, we need to start supporting you. They don't believe, you got to make them, yeah. And I'm saying the word, you got to make them step their game up. They're like, okay, whoa, okay. Mom is really doing this. Dad is really doing this. Okay. I get, yes, you got to be home. You're going to have to babysit your little brother or sister, and you can't go over to so and so's house. It's that simple. That's what you're going to have to do, and be like, but I'm look. You can be mad all you want, and then when you start making money, guess what? Show them the checks. Show your kids the checks. Oh, why are you? Oh, daddy making money, mama making money. That'll change. Okay, now they got a different respect for what you're doing. That's what y'all got to do. That's what I had to do for my sons. I had to show them the checks that I'm making. I take them to the bank when I'm dropping the checks in there. They look, even, oh, my son, they look, yeah, he see, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I'm making money. Pop's making money. Pop is gone. He's out here doing his thing. I'm not out here just running the streets. That's what you may have to do. I will say may, because some of y'all may not. Your kids might be cool and they say, okay, mom, pop, I'm gonna do it. I'll watch the little kids for you, no problem. So, all right, I'm done. I'm tired, but I still got to get me ready for tomorrow. And I know there's a couple of people that I've chatted with, so I will be getting with y'all tomorrow. Some people wanted to do some one-on-one stuff, so I got to get with them tomorrow afternoon and make some phone calls to some notaries and help them out. But if y'all need help, feel free, and I'll be more than happy to help y'all out. All right, y'all have a good one. Thanks for everything, y'all. I appreciate the love and the support for this channel. Look at the videos, hit the like button, hit the super thanks if you want. And that's all. Y'all have a good one. Peace.